Welcome to another Coffee and Chat with Sue this Tuesday morning, the 8th of July. And just wanted to remind you that this is a live chat. I just talk, I share my musings, etc. But if you're here and you're here live or you're watching the replay, please comment, please share, please ask questions. I'd love this to be a two-way conversation or a multiple-way conversation if there's other people here to join in the conversation. So today's topic is, it's a little bit raw for me, a little bit vulnerable. And so, yes, just being me, just sharing my truth, because this is one of the things that is important for me this year, to simply be authentic, to share my truth and to show up 100% real and me. And one of the topics that came up for me is, my constant changing, what I'm going to do this year, what I'm going to do that year, and changing. And many of you know me as a dog trainer and holistic behavior practitioner. And that is what I studied. That is what I have worked as in a career for over 10 years now. But what was important for me was last year, I kind of gave it all up. I said, I had been slowly taking on fewer clients. I had just a small little inner circle group that I was working with, which I loved, but I wasn't taking on any local clients anymore. I stopped making new workshops and things, and I kind of lost interest. And when my husband said to me, well, I shared it with my husband, I said, I'm selling the business. I'm not interested in doing this anymore. I'm giving it up. And he said, what? Why? And I said, I've lost my motivation. I've lost my inspiration. I've lost faith in people. I've lost faith in the industry, in the dog training industry. And I just, was not feeling it anymore. And so I decided it was time to call it a day, to close completely. And at one stage I was ready to sell the business, and let somebody else take it on. Anyway, so it didn't work out the way I had planned. It didn't get sold in the end. I had a couple of people who were interested, and it would have been amazing, but it didn't work out. So I said, okay, well, what's next? And I just sort of shelved it for a while. And this year, when I did my little solo camping trip, I decided to dig into this a little bit deeper. Why was it important for me to give it up? What was part of that? What was I letting go of that I felt needed to let go of? Really, what part of that was that part of my identity, part of not feeling good enough, etc. And when I really dug deep, it was about that. It was about that. At some deep level, I thought that I had failed. I had failed people and I had failed dogs because I hadn't given them what they needed. I hadn't fixed them or changed them to the level that they perhaps had expected. And although I knew this on a surface level, it still stung. It was still deep in there. And so that was one of the things that I thought, okay, I have to look at this. I have to really understand this a little bit deeper. So I'm just going to go back now for a little bit. So when I started out, I had a dog, like many of you know. Charlie started me on this journey. Layla came a little later and taught me different lessons, but it sent me on a really learning journey, learning about dog training, different methods, tools, understanding their communication, understanding trauma, understanding healing, blah, blah, blah. All of these things that makes a dog, a person, and how this connection comes together and can be an immensely powerful self-discovery journey, but also a journey of connection and helping the dog and the person to live a less stressed life, basically, right? To actually not be triggered by the behavior challenges or see them as behavior challenges that they were. Anyway, so I went on this big journey of discovery, and it was really exciting. And I came out wanting to help people to do the same. I'd learned so much, and I wanted to share that. And I wanted people to understand that. I wanted people to know better, to do better, to understand better, because I knew I had done that. And I wanted others to do the same, which is logical, right? Until we realize that it's a lot more nuanced, a lot more complicated than that, right? And that sharing one's journey is very powerful and can be very powerful for others, but expecting them to do it like you did it or expecting them to understand it like you understood it is a different story. And that's where I really, realized that people are all different. Dogs are all different. The situations are all different. There is no one modality, technique, way of doing things that is the answer. There is no answers out there. There is only self-discovery, and that person has to find their own way. It could be that I give them information or tools or advice that is helpful to them, but they have to put it into practice. They have to do it. They have to see if it works for them or and their dog or not. And this goes against everything that we taught as far as marketing a business, making a business out of this, out of helping, supporting people, or whether it's helping dogs and people or children or whatever it is. When we're helping others as a service, at some stage in the game, you will probably get pulled into this marketing, business, entrepreneurship piece. And that's what I was. I was pulled into it all. And it started off with, how do I need to market this? How do I need to show up? And it was, show all my qualifications, show what I can do, show who I am. And then it became, social media frenzies, post this, have reels, make YouTube videos, create courses, blah, blah. It became a whole monster of its own that was fun and a good learning process. But in the interim, I realized that you lose all, the original reasons why you're doing this in the first place, right? Which is just caring for people and dogs. And I had realized that my ego had got in the way. My ego was driving the show, right? Who am I? How am I showing up? What can I create? What can I create that's better than somebody else? How do I sell this to people? And when it's to do with people and their emotions and their dogs and their suffering and those kind of things, the two just don't seem to gel. They just don't fit together, right? And that's what I realized I had done. And then, with the dog training industry, and I don't feel it's any different to any other service-based industry out there, there's so much bickering and fighting and people showing up the way they think they should show up. Don't use this language. Don't use that word. Don't say this. Don't do this because that's going to get you into trouble with that crowd. And are you in with the in crowd? And are you doing this? And are you, it's ugly. It's nasty. It's so far removed from helping the person and the dog that it's become a you and me, us against you, the good trainers, the bad trainers, right or wrong, black or white, and very little understanding and compassion for the dogs and the people or for our colleagues in the industry. And in the last 3-4 years in particular, I've been on a very deep self-discovery journey. And the one thing I learned is that we cannot stand in somebody else's shoes for them. It's their journey. And we have to have deep, deep, deep compassion from where that person is coming from. Whether we can understand it or not, we shouldn't even be trying to really, it's their journey. The best way we can influence, and I don't even like to use the word influence, the best way we can support each other and people is by just showing up in our truth and holding space and compassion for others around us. It doesn't mean that we have to let go of our values, of what we believe is a good thing to do or not a good thing to do, etc. That's still very personal. That's something you still have. But really being open and compassionate about other people, their experience, what they're experiencing. Because when we don't give people that space, when we don't give them that beautiful, safe space to be who they are without judgment, we're not allowing them to show up in their real truth. We almost forcing them to stay in that, don't say what you did because it was a terrible thing and you will be, you'll be judged for it, you will be punished for it, you couldn't dare say that this is what you're thinking. So it doesn't allow the person their real experience, because there's still this layer of judgment, because we appear as the person who's got it all together. We have all the answers, and you don't dare say anything wrong or stupid, because you might show up silly, or you might show up, be judged, etc. So it's not allowing that person their truth and their journey by showing up that way. And that's what, when you've taken the marketing and the sales and the strategies, that's what we're doing. You're selling something to somebody. This is what you should be doing. This is how it should look like. This is what the perfect, scenario. This is how you meet all your dog's needs. This is how you get a healthy dog. This is how you make sure that they are feeling nourished, body, mind, and soul. You're putting such expectations, huge expectations on people to get it right. What this, positive trainers talk about, there's no such thing as a perfect dog. It mustn't be a good dog. But on the other side, they're saying you have to do this and this and this and this and this and this and meet these needs and those needs, etc., and putting huge pressure on the person to live up to those standards. And so when they see that and they think, gosh, I'm not doing half of that, how does it make them feel? I'm not good enough. I'm a rubbish dog mom. I should be doing more, blah, 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 blah. And I just, when I look back now, I see how unhelpful that is. Really unhelpful it is. So what I think, to sum it all up, basically, when I went into this and I felt into all the things that were happening through my experience, learning experience of what it means to be a dog trainer and a behaviorist, and how I show up for people doing that, is very far removed from A, what I really wanted in the beginning, and B, the person I had become through the process of being sucked into society's expectations of being an entrepreneur, of being a online dog trainer, behaviorist, whatever that looked like, in a positive way. And so for me, it was interesting. It was really clear that once I'd seen all this and once I'd felt into all of this, I still had a deep desire to share my experience, to share what I have learned, to share what the skills that I have gained along the way, the experience, the knowledge. I still want to do that. I still want to share it with people. I still want to be there, but hold space for them in a different way, almost like the roles are reversed. Knowing that everybody that comes into my life, whether it be as a client, as a friend, as a colleague, as a whatever, is that person has come into my life for a reason. We have something to teach and something to learn from each other. And I can learn from every single person that I work with, and I can offer my best self and my best skills and tools to that person. What they do with them is irrelevant. I don't need compliance from people. I don't need them to follow my strategies A to Z. I don't need them to say, do your homework and do this technique and then you will get your result. I'm in it for a different reason now. I'm coming back in with a very open, honest, experimental way. Curiosity is coming back in with me now to say, let's do this together. Let's see what we can figure out. Let's learn together with you and your dog. Let me see let me listen deeply in that moment what you need, and see what my heart and my true self, my higher self can explore together with you and your higher self. So I think I'm coming in from a completely different place this time. I'm not feeling overwhelmed. I'm not going to step into all the big marketing hype, and I'm just going to be open and honest and keep it really, really simple. Honor my own time. I'm not here to people please. I'm not here to get as many clients as I can. I'm not here to prove myself to anybody. I'm not feeling judged if people don't like my methods or people don't like the way what I have to share. That's fine too. I've grown from that now. I don't feel the judgments like I used to in the past. I have nothing to prove. I know my worth, and that's what I'm here to explore more. I'm here to grow more and understand more and explore more. And what a beautiful way to do that, by opening up again and saying, I'm ready to work with clients and their dogs again, and to see where that goes and what it looks like. So I found it also really, really affirming by the universe, because when I had thought about this on Sunday and decided, yes, this is something that I was going to do again, Monday morning I was on my walk and I had a missed call. I got back from the walk. I phoned the person back. It was a lady just down the road. She's got a new rescue dog and she's struggling with her. And with a short conversation, we gelled really quickly. She signed up. She didn't blink at, the price that I offered her, the services I offered her. She was more than happy, set the first date for our first session. And it was that easy. And I thought, it can be that easy. And that was really affirming from the universe for me to say, yes, you're on the right track. So I'm feeling very positive about it. I'm feeling excited about it again, to see where it goes, again, without expectations, open-ended, um, you know, really coming, as I said, from a different place this time, and to see where it goes, as I said. So thank you for allowing me to share this with you. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable, because it is vulnerable for me to say, how I got tied up into the ugliness of it all, and it became all about me and my ego and what I could do and who I could be, and it's not about that. It really isn't about that. At the end of the day, it's about me sharing what I've learned with others, openly, honestly, without expectations, and just being perhaps a little seed for that person. I'm not the whole solution. I'm not the whole journey for them. They have to do that journey by themselves. I'm just there along the way as a guidepost, perhaps, to help them on a specific part of their journey or a specific section. And if they don't resonate with that, that's okay. That's fine too. I'm sure I have something to learn from that person and that dog, too. So that's where I am. Thank you very much for all of you for listening. Oh, I forgot to put my little message there. I wanted to say, feel free to post your comments or ask questions or to share your thoughts, whether you do that live now or later. But thank you again for listening, and wishing you a beautiful day, and speak to you next Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.